This podcast contains explicit adult content, mature themes, and candid conversations about sex, dominance, power exchange, and ethical non-monogamy. It is intended for audiences 18 and over only. Listener discretion is advised. The views expressed by our guests are theirs alone and do not necessarily reflect the views or values of the hosts, producers, or affiliated brands. The Bull Brotherhood Podcast is for educational, entertainment, and empowerment purposes only. Nothing in this podcast should be interpreted as legal advice, medical guidance, or psychological counseling. We speak from experience, not credentials. Always practice consent, respect the boundaries of others, and follow local laws. If you're not comfortable with frank talk about sex, kink, dominance, or emotional power, this probably isn't the show for you. But if you're ready to step into your masculine edge and embrace a lifestyle that demands mastery, welcome to the Brotherhood.
Welcome to the Bull Brotherhood Podcast, where we talk power, pleasure, and the art of dominance in ethical non-monogamy. This is not your average lifestyle podcast. This is for men who lead, men who master, and men who leave a lasting impression. If you're here, you're not just curious. You're ready to elevate. So to all the bulls, hotwives, stags, and open-minded explorers, we see you. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another informative episode of the Bull Brotherhood Podcast. I'm 1/3 of your podcast team, the incomparable Sigma male himself, Brian Morgan, along with the other 2/3, the family, Socrates and Siren. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good. How about you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Breathing, that's all that matters. So blessed. Look, you, what's up?
What's up, on? You said it right. Breathing, brother.
I know, right? I know, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this evening we're going to talk about a topic that's really near and dear to my heart, because I actually lived this for the last 30 years of being a bull, and it's what I call the perfect bull checklist, okay, or qualities of an ideal bull. We talk about like what it takes to be that perfect bull, y'all. You guys being a couple, I'm so glad that you're like part of the team, because the questions that I have for you guys, talking about this is like, I don't know, I guess if what am I trying to say? If compersion is like the holy grail of cuckolding, you know, this being like a quality bull, this checklist is like the Holy Bible. All right, it's like the Holy Bible. First things first. One of the first things that I do when I meet a couple, you hear me talk about all the time, it's about that connection. It's that connection. I call it that energy or that aura that I'm bringing to the table. My charisma, my charm. And I want them to be as comfortable as possible with me. You guys tell me. I'm gonna start with Carissa, since she's the lady here. What are you looking for when you meet, when that bull comes up and like introduces himself to you and Socrates?
Well, first of all, I'm looking for him to, if we're both together, I'm looking for that bull to acknowledge my husband, first and foremost, to introduce himself to him first, and then move his attention to me. So that would be the first thing. And then just looking for someone who seems calm, but at the same time excited. So just that perfect balance between, eager to meet me and get to know me, but also not too aggressive, especially if it's the first time that we're meeting.
Are you looking for?
Oh, go ahead.
Are you looking for confidence and not cockiness?
Yes.
Or can he be a tad bit? I'm gonna say he's not overly confident, but he knows himself. So it may come down as like seeming a little bit arrogant, but he's just extremely confident in what he's bringing to the table.
Right.
That's okay with you?
Yeah. Yeah. And cockiness, the it kind of gets to be a fine line there too, because if he's more about what he's going to bring to the table, that's one thing. Cockiness to me gets a turn off when it's saying something about someone else. So as long as he keeps the focus on himself and me and what he's going to bring to the experience and doesn't put anyone down, then to me that's more confident than cocky.
Outstanding. Nephew, what do you look for? Like when he first approaches either the two of you or like goes up to her, are you looking for him to come to you first, or are you one of the type of husbands that sits back and watches how he interacts with your queen before you come in there, or what?
Well, can we take a few steps back? Because I kind of want to define some terms here. And I know we've done this before, but some, soul podcasts will say, we're really not even, and I want your take on this before I give you my opinion, but some podcast and experts would say, well, you really shouldn't ask us because we're a stag vixen couple. Some people would say a bull is only a guy who is interacting with a cuckold couple. So what's your take on that? Because if you know what I mean?
I say negative.
Okay.
I say negative. It doesn't matter, stag, vixen, cuckold. It does not matter to me. Okay, a couple is a couple. When I interact, now you make if that husband or the couple says that we are a real cuckold couple, and that's how we want to be treated, then I may treat him a little bit differently, with the interaction, because he wants to be not humiliated, but he wants to be kind of like, not there. He's there, but he's invisible to me.
Gotcha.
But the stag vixen couple, I when you say stag vixen, I know exactly what I'm getting. So I am automatically, I may greet her first, say good evening, maybe give you a kiss or two on the cheek or something, but I immediately go to you after that. And then the conversation is between me and you.
Right.
First. And then we all blend in. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted your take on it. So to go back to answer your question, I wouldn't say I agree. I need to start using different language. I would say that makes sense to me right now at this stage in my knowledge about the lifestyle. I would say, yeah, I'm looking for his protocol, right? And so what protocol is a set of steps that people do that kind of govern how you operate that's consistent. So are you I don't really personally care who you talk to first.
Okay.
I just care that you do talk to me. I care that you are interested in showing my wife respect. I care that you're interested in our dynamic and what our rules are. I'm using the word rules loosely because I don't personally believe in rules per se, but
Guidelines.
whatever our guidelines are, and then the other stuff about charm and about all this kind of stuff. Here's my thing with compersion. I believe compersion is me receiving pleasure from knowing that you are receiving pleasure. That doesn't have to come from me. So all that other stuff, that's up to my wife. Like, there's guys that I don't particularly care for at all on any way. There's guys I might know things about them that they might not know I know about them, either through the grapevine or whatever. I still am like, if she makes my wife happy, whatever, Or right, my bad.
Yeah.
I like women too, though. It's fine.
If the bull likes my wife and my wife is happy with whatever he's doing or whoever he is, as long as he has that parameter or what I call framework, right? Where you're respecting my framework that I have put around my wife for her protection and to make sure that she's, being respected. Well, I'll just say this. I want her to be respected and protected spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. I take that job seriously if she wants to participate in that. So Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what is your framework and are you going to respect my framework, right? Or what is your protocol? Are you going to respect mine, right?
Cool.
After that, it's like, have fun with my wife and do whatever y'all enjoy.
Good deal. Carissa, I know you have high standards, my dear. High standards. What do you like? I'm gonna start off physically. What are you looking for physically in that quality bull?
Well, honestly, a lot of the physical stuff comes from, like, the first thing is hygiene. Is he wearing clean clothes, an outfit that goes well together. It doesn't have to be fancy. He could be in shorts and a t-shirt and, some sneakers. I'm good with that. But is it clean? Can I tell that he has taken care of himself? Does he smell clean? A lot of guys drown themselves in cologne. I say a little dab will do ya. I like, guys will ask, "Oh, what do you like that smell?" I said, I just like you to smell clean. And then
A little body spray. A little body spray goes a long way.
Right.
I don't use cologne.
Spray
A little body
spray it in front of you and walk in.
You good to go.
Yeah.
Good to go.
So mostly that is just that clean, well-kept appearance. We only have what the good Lord gave us, and then we do the best we can with it, hitting the gym, eating right.
Paying doctors.
Right. You said paying doctors, right? Because I'm about to buy some titties here in 4 weeks from today. So, I done the best with what God gave me, and I need a little extra help. So I'm not looking for a guy that is just popping muscles all over the place, but just someone who tries to take care of themselves. I actually like a full-bodied man. I like a dad bod. That's attractive to me. It's comfy to snuggle up against, or whatever else. So I kind of like a little something to push into. I don't like my men to be rock hard physically. I like their dick to be rock hard, right?
Not the bodybuilder type right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not generally what I'm attracted to personally. But that's why the lifestyle's so great. There's something for everybody. But just that clean, well-kept appearance. I'm not looking for a particular height. I've had just as much fun with guys under 6 foot as over 6 foot. Yeah. So that's
Let me go back to what you just said about there's something for everybody. There's something for everybody if they embrace, like you said, who they are.
right.
Whether you got the athletic body, or you got the dad bod, or you short, or you maybe a little bit robust, it does not matter in this lifestyle. Okay, this is about confidence. How confident are you? Okay, because when you are extremely confident in who you are, whether it be male or female, especially the male, the bull, that confidence breeds domination.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it again. That confidence breeds domination.
What does that mean?
It breeds dominance. Okay, when I'm with a couple, and here again, I take the lead. Okay, I take the lead pretty much on everything, especially when they are a true cuckold couple. All right. He's gonna know his place with me from the jump. I mean, from the moment we get into the room. Okay, whether I put him in a cuckold chair, or if I got him sitting on the bed, you know what I mean? If he's caged, certain verbiage that I use, et cetera, et cetera. She is going to see that. She's going to see it. She's going to hear it. Okay, I might not even be looking at her at first, but it's going to turn her on so doggone good that when I do go to her, it's not much as I got to do to her. You know what I mean? Before we're going into it. And that's what I mean by confidence breeds that domination. What are my 3 things again? I want to claim you, train you, then own you. Okay? Claim, train, and own. And through that confidence, that's going to come, the domination is going to come. That dominance is going to come. And that's how it's done. But here again, it doesn't matter though if you got a beer belly, or if your stomach is an 8-pack or whatever. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. Okay? Same thing with, what you got down there in your damn pants and stuff. If you walk in there with what you have and you are a man's man, they're going to see, okay, this guy right here knows what he's doing. That's what I mean by that.
Exactly. We lovingly refer to that as the dick matrix, because some guys might not be packing as much as another guy, but I find those guys actually, they put a little more effort into the experience.
A lot of those guys are your true performers. I tell guys all the time, if you watch some of the pornography out there, usually the guys who end up winning the awards are not the dudes that have something just hanging all the way down to the damn ankle. It's usually the guy he might be average or maybe a little bit more than average, but he brings everything to the table. Okay, not only his physical performance, but he can act. He knows how to treat the lady. I mean, you got ladies that are like, hey, I want to work with this guy. I want to work with him. I want to work with him. That's what you want. Okay, when you go to the event like Splash, ladies, Carissa, you know guys already that you want. You already vetted. All right, even if you never really played with them before, but you've already vetted this individual. So you're like, hey, I want to play with you. I want to play with you. So, here again, it goes back to that confidence. Goes back, like you said, and the dick matrix. I like that. I got to write that down. I definitely got to write that down.
All right. Well,
I like that.
Can I expound on what it means? Because it is a pretty dope system for guys. Well, I won't tell the story how I learned about it, but somebody told me about the dick matrix, and I was struggling because we won't say I'm on my size, but I have a above average dick, and I still was insecure about it because I had some incidents of some size queens. So this person told me, look, this is how women.
Can I stop you right there before you say anything else?
Yeah.
With that term size queen, most ladies who say they're size queens, here again, if you are confident in what you bring to the table, you can break them down like a 50 cal machine gun. You can break them down. I have done it. I have done it. I have done it more than several times. Okay, I break them down. When they say, matter of fact, I like to hear. Somebody says, "Oh, I'm a size queen." Okay, all right, cool.
Challenge accepted.
That's a challenge. Challenge accepted.
I feel like that term too. I mean, I never use it to refer to myself. Because man, I've squirted on 3 inches. I've squirted on 13 inches. And everything in between. But I feel like when someone says that they're a size queen, it's almost just like letting you know, like, hey, I ain't gonna be happy with just any old performance, like you say, you can break them down, but they're just saying they have a standard. See if you'll be intimidated by it or if you'll break it down, like you said.
You know what? I was just about to say, or she may have a little complex about herself. You know what I mean? And by saying size queen, that's going to do a little, reverse psychology.
Go.
Yeah, reverse psychology may mean that they have a complex about themselves and they use the term size queen, to reverse it and make you feel some kind of way. I've had that happen before. I won't say, what it was or anything like that, but she had a complex about herself and she used the term size queen. And then here again, when we got really to know each other and I broke her down, she told me what that complex was and why she said size queen. So that was the reason that I was stopping you just to bring that up, Siren. But by all means, keep going, you and Socrates.
Yeah. So, I was having trouble with that. And then this person told me, look, the way it works is that a man is evaluated, and I'm sure women are too, but a man is evaluating several different things. It could be how funny he is, right? How well he dresses, his charm, his leadership, his money, right? All of those things. Dick size is one of them. But the dick matrix is, it's kind of like, look, if you have a 12-inch dick and the girth is right, and you halfway know how to use it, then yeah, you might not need some of those other ones. But she's like, most guys are average. Most guys, are this size. And if you have, charm and you're funny and you know how to dress and you know how to game and all of those things, then the dick size doesn't matter as much because you're getting her there through the experience, and you're getting her there through everything else. So it's like your whole package that you are bringing to the table, right, is what's helping her get there, as opposed to relying on one tool. So that's what really helped me. She wrote it out. And for our listeners, I think what I'm going to do is I'll definitely put it on our social media. When, once we have that, I'll let you guys know what that is. But, I'll put that out. And I was thinking, okay, I'll just probably improve the image and see if it can make it look a little better. But I'll definitely put that out there to show you guys. But it is definitely, to me, from there, it has definitely helped me have more confidence because, like I say, I'm, well above the natural average for Black men. But I still went through that stage because, you're like, well, shoot, if it's about size, and I see some dudes with third legs, right? I ain't got no third leg. I'm in the top 5%, but I don't have a third leg, So that was, what I needed to hear to understand there's something you can do about it. Even if you're really big, you still need to bring a little bit of charm. You still need to, know how to use it. You know what I mean?
Women will put you on blast very, very quickly if you are, an extremely large guy, but you didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? There is something about the term emotional devotion. I mean, yeah, you need to know how to use everything. Okay, and when I say everything, every portion of your body, you need to know how to use it. I mean, if you are good at all, become a freaking expert at all. Okay, your hands know how to touch, fingers, everything. I mean, every part of her is an erogenous zone. Every part of a woman's body is an erogenous zone. I don't care if you're playing with her hair. I don't care if you're rubbing her neck. I don't care if you kissing, the nape of the neck, kissing the ears. Every part of the woman's body is an erogenous zone. I'm telling you, okay? So when you get in started at head, especially if you have and here's something that I pride myself on, and I've had people say, I love the way you talk while you are performing. They're like, you can literally tell a story while you are performing, okay? So that's another thing. If you are a talker, perfect it. Just perfect your craft, Michael Jordan perfected his craft in basketball, other guys in football, other guys in baseball. But, when you're a bull, perfect the physical, and then the other things will be easier because you are so freaking confident. When you get into that situation, you're so freaking confident. You don't even think about anything else. I mean, you just take over. You take over the situation when you got that lady or that couple in that room.
Can I ask you Bulls a question?
Go right ahead.
How do you feel about, like, I know how my husband feels about this, but I still want to have him say it, how do you feel about asking the lady for feedback, or if she volunteers feedback, either during or after?
Oh, after, for me, I have an after action report after every encounter.
I love it. I love it.
I have an after action report after every encounter. I want to know what was good. I want to know what was bad. If there was anything bad, I want to know. I want to know how you guys feel, et cetera, et cetera. And then usually I will even ask again via a text message or something like that. Or I'll get a text saying, Prime, we had a great time. Definitely want to meet you, see you again, da, 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 da. That makes my chest stick out. But yeah, I have to have an AAR. I have to.
What about you, Socrates?
Well, that's why Unc is my Unc right there. We vibe 100% on that after action reports.
And how honest do you think these women are being with you? Have you gotten all positive?
Well, here's the thing. So, being who I am, I just finished reading a body language book. It's one of the best ones I've heard of. It's the only one I read, but it's by a FBI interrogator and negotiator. No, negotiator. And so I combine that with how she's reacting in the moment when we're playing with the words that she's saying. And so there's some women I know that are, you know, I don't know what to say. There's several things like maybe inexperienced or, you know, they just do this every now and again or haven't been exposed to a lot of things where I know they're like, oh, I'm just getting this. So it's great. It's fine. It's wonderful. It's what, you know, and they're coming from a place of, well, I'm just happy to get it. So, you know, whatever. I take that with a grain of salt. I take that in consideration. And if I start hearing too many compliments, then I'll start digging for things that I can improve on or how I can get better. So I know that some women are maybe feel like they don't want to hurt your feelings. So even if you ask, they're not going to tell you. Or I've had women say that's kind of creepy or weird that I'm asking for that. You know, why you, I've had women that didn't respond well to the fact that I'm asking for feedback and they think it's kind of weird. But for the most part, I love it. How do I put it? My entire bull perspective is based on after action reports because my whole thing is I know what I want to do as a dominant man. I know what I want to do to you that feels good. And I've learned how to motivate you and inspire you and turn you on to kind of get you to do that and have that back and forth play. So I know what I need to do. I know what I want because I think about 75% of what I need to do, I'm going to put you in a position to do it anyway and you to enjoy it. I don't want to force you, but I'm like, I'm going to get that out of you. But for women, for me, I want to know really good details about it because I want to guide you through an experience and I want to see, well, how far can we take this? How much can I turn you on? How much can we get you to a place of ecstasy? Right? That requires feedback. That's a journey.
How much of Pandora's box can I open with you and you respond to it?
Right. Now, I've gotten in trouble. Like recently, I did it to someone and me and Siren were like, you know, she might be a little too much like infatuated with you, you know? So, you know, I've done it sometimes where I was like, I did it too well, you know? And then sometimes I'm like, I'm just struggling to.
The play experience was too well or the feedback was too well?
Well, you know, we were talking about getting to the point of taking you to ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I like this journey is because I've gotten to that point where I feel pretty good about getting, I don't know, the majority of women that I interact with to that place because of my action after action report belief system. So I am a big advocate and disciple of it now. You will never talk me out of getting feedback. And if I ask 10 women and it means that 3 of them will never play with me again because I do that, bet.
But because feedback is your kink.
Yeah.
And I think too, you know, we have kind of the way I am anyway, some wives might just kind of stay out of the scene and just be like, you know, my husband just goes and does his thing or whatever, but I'm nosy. So I usually will ask as well, like, you know, hey, did you enjoy yourself? Like, what did you enjoy about it? Like, let me know. Or the best thing, you know, when I can tell him, like, hey, that woman really enjoyed themselves, is they come seek me out, especially at a big event like Splash. Like, and to me, respect is my kink. So it feels respectful. And it serves two purposes for me. Is that it feels really respectful when a woman will seek me out and thank me for having time with my husband. And then also, usually she'll put her hand on my arm and just look me in the eyes and just be like, girl, I had the best time
There you
days,
go.
but
There you
and
go.
then I can bring that
There you
in
go.
too, is like, hey,
And
they
that's all
don't
that needs to be
volunteer
said.
that unless it's sincere, because I'm the wife, and some women might feel a little intimidated and not want to risk the jealousy factor, but I love that when a woman will come to me and when she sincerely had a great time with my husband and tell me like, hey,
A real woman,
yeah.
a real woman who is confident in herself and she really, really respects you and really is saying thank you for loaning out this wonderful man to me. She will come up to you and she will look you, just like you said, look you in the eye with that hair all tore up and everything, and be like, girl, girl, you know what I mean? Well, that's what you say, girl.
Right.
And that's
And
all
and
she has
some
to say.
right. Sometimes we
That's all
don't,
she has to say.
we
And
just
it's
look
not
at each
bullshit.
other
You
like,
can't
no,
fake that.
the hand kind of coming up near the throat, like clutching her pearls, this is like
Exactly. You know what I mean?
and
You
sometimes
can't
they'll
fake
say a
that.
lot or a little. Yeah, and that's all I need. And
You
then
can't fake
I
that.
bring
You
that
can't
back to
fake that.
him. So
All right.
so for the women
I
listening, if you
yeah.
play with my
Yeah.
husband and you don't feel comfortable giving him that feedback, come and give it to me and then I will relay it, because there there's a lot that they say to me, and then I think that helps. Maybe he can speak to that part, is if
Yeah.
that's helpful,
Yeah.
I bring that back from the women if they seek me out. Is that helpful for you?
All feedback is helpful for me. Yeah. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. In my journey, when I was a young man and I thought that I was, sex was just being a porn star. Here again, it took my handler who said what she said to me to make me realize that, hey, I need to learn all aspects of sex, because she did. She gave me a great compliment. She said, baby, you have no clue how to make love, but goddamn, you can fuck. You know what I mean? And here again, at 26, 27 years old, yeah, your chest goes out. But then you think about it and you're like, okay, that's not the real thing. You know what I mean? That's not the real thing. If I'm going to be successful in this endeavor that she's put me in, which was escorting, I need to learn everything. And ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing like having older women teach you how to make love, have sex, and fuck. There's nothing like older women. Okay. They know exactly what they want and they don't settle for anything less. So if you have the patience and the time, young man, as I was, and I wanted to learn. That was the thing. I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to learn everything. And that was in my late 20s and then through my 30s. Then I started to evolve in my 40s and I wanted to become that pleasure provider. You know what I mean? I wanted to make you crazy, not only physically, but also I wanted to get inside that brain as well as that heart, you know, and I become very, very good at that. That's where the verbal judo started coming out while I was performing, and now in my 50s, you put everything together, then you see what I'm saying? The equation, the equation that adds up over time. Because believe me, when you get my age, there are gonna be times where you're not gonna want to, hey, I can't just sit here and slap, 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 like I used to. So I need to be good. So I need to be good at this. I need to be good at that. I need to know how to talk. I need to know how to, pull back some, and then I know when to shift gears. So that's the evolution. That's that evolution of a good bull. Um, and and believe me, Lord have mercy. Like I said, from 26 to now, I have evolved big time. I've evolved even to the point where I've turned into kind of I'm not gonna say a stag, but I mean I'm definitely a voyeur, and liking to watch now. So, but go ahead though.
Right. Well, and I wanted to share about a play experience that I had at the last splash. And as you were talking about that, you can't just slap, slap, slap forever.
No,
I will
no.
say that I will enjoy the lead up more sometimes even than the actual act of fucking. So I had an experience where we had talked so much, we had video chatted, we had exchanged pictures. By the time I got to his room, it's like everything before he even stuck it in was so hot and so passionate that it's like the actual act, I want to say maybe it only lasted like 10 minutes, like the actual fucking.
Yeah.
But everything
Yeah.
else was, and some people will be like, oh, only 10 minutes. But let me tell you,
No,
everything else,
the build up was everything, wasn't it?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Like everything else was
Yeah.
so brutal that it's like, he's like, man, I didn't even flip you over and take it from behind. I'm like, you didn't need to. And we played a couple of
Yeah.
times, and and both of the times were just similar to that. And I said, man, we didn't even need to, because
Yeah.
everything else was just so intense. And so, if you develop those other skills that are before that, then, then a lot of times we don't need you to fuck us for 3 hours. Like, I've had that too. But
Sure.
there's
Sure.
so much that you can do before the, we say the P and the V, happens, that's incredible. So just developing those other skills is really, really, will serve you well as a bull, in my opinion.
I'm laughing at the 3 hours now. I used to be able to do the 3 hours. Let me do 3 hours now. I'm out for the next 3 days. I'm telling you, my groin, my back, my hips, everything will be tore to pieces. So yeah, you're absolutely right on that though. The build up, and here again, young bulls, older bulls out there, the build up is everything. You just heard it from a beautiful hotwife right there. She said she had a build up of that took what? Was this like months or weeks before you guys met at Splash?
Yeah, it was a few months, and then he didn't even actually get into Splash because it was sold out. So he came a couple days before, and we always go early. So we played, a couple of times before that. He had a couple of ladies that he came and played with. He'd been to Splashes, people knew him, he wasn't, but I'd never met him then. And then to his respect of my husband afterwards, like, I mean, maybe even he went above and beyond. Like, how many times did he thank you?
Like 3.
Yeah, he in person, he sent you a message.
But guess what? That's what he's supposed to do.
Right.
That's what he was a quality. He was that somebody like that. And I know I'm speaking for your husband right now. Somebody like that, you don't mind saying, come, come see us, or you don't mind saying, hey, we're at Splash. I'm not worried about my wife being with you. If it's somebody quality like that. So yeah, he did the right thing. If he thanked 2 or 3 times, that was wonderful. All right. He did it through the reclaiming of bringing you back to Socrates. And then he did it again, shaking a hand, and he did it again by the actual thanking, as well as a text message. I commend the dude. Hats off to him. Perfect. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Socrates, what else? What else? Like, here again, you're a husband, but you're also a bull. Or give me your, like, when you meet somebody, and I'm not necessarily talking about Splash, okay? But like when you're out there and you meet, say, a couple, or you meet maybe even a unicorn or something, for sure, how does the great Socrates, work his magic before the actual action happens?
Well, the actual Socrates says, if I know anything, I know that I know nothing. So the first thing I do is I'm always going to start with the state of being. And my state of being is humility. And humility is defined by knowing the source of your power. So the source of my power is God, Yahweh, is my family, my wife, is my commitment to certain things. And then it's people like you. So that's one. But secondly, I come with questions. Questions are the answer. right? That's why they call a Socratic method. And the Socratic method is finding out where people really stand by asking them 1,000 questions. You know, I went back and read that recently, and I learned a few things that I've forgotten, like how they respond to the question, even if they ask it or don't, how they feel about it, what it provokes in them, says a lot. So I'm going to ask them a lot of questions. I'm going to ask what's your dynamic. I'm going to ask.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, because I was gonna say I'm curious. So give me some, give the audience some of the questions that you might ask.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask the basics: your dynamic, your rules, how'd you get in the, that stuff. How'd you get in the lifestyle, right? Your
The basics.
origin story, all that kind of things. Then I'm gonna ask them to kind of like the, immediate, the intermediate stuff, kind of like, what are your kinks? What do you like? What turns you on the most? Those kind of things. We're gonna have conversations. I'm gonna try and talk about things that are not lifestyle to see, how you talk about things, your approach to those things. I want to know everything I can know, because then that tells me the things that I shouldn't be asking, right? Because I'm not going to ask you, how do you want me to touch you? How do you want me to kiss you? I'm not going to ask that, but I'm going to ask all the things that I think I need to know. That's going to tell me everything I need to know on how my approach is. So, I don't know if we talked about the velvet steel principle. I know you believe in this, but it's a old school principle that my father taught me, as far as, be still, have a strong core inside, be strong, be a strong man to be able to defend yourself, to be able to attack, to be able to, to be a tool to get things done, but have velvet on the outside, right? Be someone who's, respectful, try to be easy to get along with, try to be soft in your approach or whatever. And I'm still working on that. I haven't mastered that at all. But that's approach I have. And so if I'm going to come with that velvet steel mentality, then I want to be the rock that you need to make you feel comfortable, to make you feel open. But at the same time, I want to be, I want to do it in a way that makes you feel comfortable, and then makes you feel respected, that makes you feel like you can set yourself at ease, that makes you feel like, oh, he's relieving the tension in the room, or building it up in a way that you want, right? And so I actually lost my train of thought. So what was the question again? Because I want to make sure I'm staying on track.
No, you were there. I was just asking you, what are some of the questions that you asked?
Oh, right, got you. So
you asked it. Oh.
Yeah. So towards the end, right before I'm about to play, I don't ask a question. I'm mastering this. I haven't gotten it down to a perfect statement that I like, but I'm going to make a statement as far as whatever the experience is, that I want to make sure that you feel comfortable enough to give me feedback during and after, right? So I've played with things like, feedback is my kink. And that's helped some women and not others. I've playing now with how to talk to them and how to whisper in their ear and get them to give me feedback by making it fun and romantic, or fun and sexy, or fun and, whatever. So the last one is more of a statement of trying to get you to be more open to give me more feedback and more interaction in a way that tells me how you like it. So it's not a question as much as it is a statement to get you to be open to do what the question is trying to do, which is just to give me feedback so I can navigate towards that ecstasy, man. So I can, and then I think it was you that described, I can't remember what it was a TikTok or something that described the state of, somebody that said there's a certain way that you can walk a woman through that journey and get her to the state of euphoria that's almost close to some meditative states. And he's talked about using edging and teasing and the whole combination of that. And that took me to a whole nother level of okay, I'm excited about getting to that level. So it's all of those questions are to serve that. How can I get her to that almost euphoric state of ecstasy where it's not just a physical orgasm, but emotional orgasm, you know? And so I want to surround those questions or develop questions that get her there.
Well, good deal. Good deal. I do things a little bit differently. I mean, I like those questions, but I do things a little bit differently because here again, I've told you guys before, I never go into an encounter thinking about the sex. For me, it is about getting that inside the head of the couple. I want to know things like what's the secret for maintaining longevity in this lifestyle? You know, tell me that, and things like that. I mean, what keeps you going in this lifestyle as a couple? And it doesn't matter what your dynamic is, hot wife, stag, cook, whatever and stuff. But what's the secret for maintaining longevity? You know, how is getting into the hot wife and lifestyle? How is it like uplifted your marriage? You know, how has it made you guys the happiest couple in the damn world? You know, things like that. I mean, I want to get inside your head. I'm not thinking about the physical. I'm never ever thinking about the physical. I want to make you feel as comfortable as possible. I'm even ask you something like, what's a quality that you admire most in your partner, and vice versa. You know, why did you choose each other, and how and when did you know that person was the one? Questions like that. That gives them feeling as comfortable as freaking possible. Not even they're not even thinking about why I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Why I'm really there. And then when I do, as we become so comfortable like that, then I do slide into the physical or the sexual aspect of it. Man, you talking about usually 85% of the time, it's a great encounter because we're so comfortable with each other, because they end up asking me the same thing, right? They'll think about it, and so they'll come up with the same thing to me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. Have you
Go ahead.
heard about, it's like a trend on TikTok where the guy is saying, talk her through it. I know Siren has seen that. Do you remember those
I
series?
don't think I've seen. I don't think I have.
Refresh my memory.
So yeah, it's about, see, I'm gonna mess this up because I'm not good at it, and so I don't have good examples, but this is something I'm really interested in. So it's more of like the man whispering in a woman's ear while he's playing, but he's talking her through the experience.
Through the experience, yes.
Talk to me about that, because I'm curious about it, and I feel like it's something that would really work well. The guys on TikTok, obviously, and a lot of women say they love that. So, you know, I'm like, I want to hear from Unc first, and then I want to hear from Siren, because I know she's had guys that have done that before.
Okay. Let me, and I'll ask Siren first. When the guy is talking you through it, is he talking you through actually what he is doing at the time, or is he talking you through, let's say, a scenario of a kink that he may have seen before or is into, and that has made you extremely horny, and you know what I mean? You all are like going through the kink at the same time.
I think there's a variety of ways to talk her through it.
Yes, there is.
So the first one that
What do you like?
well, I've liked all of the different ones, but I want to describe different scenarios. So recently I have a couple of bulls that I've just become better friends with, and they're, friends with Socrates too. Sometimes we will be talking about just like the most random things while we are playing. And I just find that so enjoyable because my body's relaxing more. Like they're literally like fucking me, and they'll be talking about, you know, the oh man, and the other day I was like doing this or doing that, and we're just talking about the most random things. Just some regular conversation. And then they're like, oh, geez, scoot over a little bit, and they're like, oh, is that too deep? We doing good? And you know, and then they pause to like enjoy me screaming or whatever. So that's fun because it's just like that familiarity of like, high five, best friend, see you later, you know? I like that. I've had guys, recently I flew out of town just for the day to play with someone, and the guy was parking in the car and he said, you know, just wait in the hotel lobby. And then he came up behind me and was like, hey, excuse me, ma'am, you know, are you here alone? I said, oh, I'm waiting for someone. And he said, well, would you like to wait upstairs in my room? And I said, oh, yes, let's hurry before my husband finds out. And then there was somebody in the lobby that overheard it. And then I just winked at that guy who overheard it and like, you know, put my finger over my lips like, shh. And then he kind of chuckled. And then, you know, we went upstairs and then, you know, that just kind of started it. And then he's like, you know, well, where is your husband right now? You know, and this whole thing. Oh, he's waiting at home, but it's okay. You know, like just, you know, just kind of. And then I've had some guys, you know, just coming in close, just whispering and then just describing, you know, what they're doing to me at the time. So that's kind of like 3 different ways of talking. Yeah, pretty me through it.
3 different ways. Yep. I throw in the taboo.
I've enjoyed
kink for I throw the taboo kink in for me and a whole lot of couples and find out that they enjoy, that they like that. Also, big time. I just had a couple last week that I didn't think they were going to like it, but then they both enjoyed it so doggone well, you know, that it made the encounter just absolutely marvelous. And as far as like describing what I'm doing or, you know, telling her, you know, hey, it only takes, you know, a couple of inches of this thick cockhead right inside of you to make you come and da. And then when it happens, she looks at you like, oh shit, I didn't know my body like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the role.
One guy, he started, this was over a year ago, the first guy that ever did this. And then I kind of just learned that respect was my kink, either in a threesome where we have another woman or playing with another guy. And this guy said, your daddy sent you here to have a good time and you better fucking have a good time. Like he was like, you know, just very commanding about it. And woo, when he like had that respect for, you know, my husband and called him, I think anybody referring to him as my daddy, like, or a girl, you know, if we're playing with a girl and she's like, your daddy's fucking me so good. It's so good. Like, and oh man, I will just come like almost instantly. If he send me a little video, this girl's like, thank you for letting your daddy fuck me. And I like came like not even being touched. Like I like that one so much when they refer to, you know, me being owned by my daddy and that my dad, you know, hey, the send you back to your daddy all used up, you know, like that one really gets me.
Yeah. I hope they kind of answer your question there, Socrates. So that's again, that's a part of mastering the entire art of seduction. You know what I mean? Everything. I mean, everything. Like I said, it doesn't matter, man, what you look like, or it doesn't matter what you're packing or anything like that. Confidence breeds dominance. Period. You know, and like I said, when you can master everything to the art of sex, you become a dangerous person, brother. You become a dangerous man, you know, because you can do so many things. I mean, you become so uninhibited also and insatiable. I mean, it's like something can pop off anywhere. You know what I mean? At any time. Like, you know, Siren said, right there in the hotel lobby way. You know, he went into that mode and got them going right there in front of everybody. I love it. You know, the only thing I probably would have done, I probably would have taken around the corner and pulled my dick out and fucked her right there in the hallway. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's how you do it.
Oh, yeah. You even
That's how
just
you do
told
it.
me some stories that I was like, whoo. Even if that never happens to me, I really enjoyed hearing about it.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I'm the king of spontaneity. I do. I'm the king of spontaneity. You never know when it's gonna happen. Hell, it's Splash Moko upstairs going to the room. I didn't have no, that lady and her husband just walked by. She was looking. The next thing I know, she's down on her knees, sucking my dick right there, and he looking like, y'all didn't even say hello. And we didn't even say hello. We just looked. We just looked at each other. And I just almost passed down. And I was like, come here. And she just went down. So that's that art. That's that art of seduction that I was talking about. That to me, all real bulls need to have. They need to have that in their arsenal. And I think every bull, if he has patience, he can learn it. He can definitely learn. If he doesn't have the patience, then stay on the sites. Stay on the sites, because that's probably where you don't get your action from. Although,
And I call it repeat business when you play with someone you've already played with before. But there's something to be said about that, is like, making that experience quality. Or, the guy I flew out of town to see, he actually had came through our area, and the whole experience was great. But then when it came time for the actual, action, then his dig wouldn't work. And but everything surrounding that, his communication, his conversation, his demeanor, everything. And he felt real bad, and he's like, "Oh, I need to prove," and I said, "You don't got to prove anything." It's like, he's like, "I can't believe you flew all the way to see me for the day when the first time didn't even go so well." Because other people were like, "Oh, he must have really laid it down." And I said, "No, but it's like when you walk into a house and everything is amazing, and you flip the light switch on and the light don't come on, you don't burn down the house. You just go check the fuse, right?" So I knew from everything else about him and the experience that if the light would come on, it was going to be a great time. And then guess what? It was. It was a wonderful experience the second time.
Can I jump in for if this brother ever listens to it? I think he would want to,
nephew.
in his defense, I think he would want to add the fact that he had already played with somebody
I was going to go there.
and he was tired by this play partner, and then he got a little bit of rest, and then he was going to try to take down the Siren, and that is a difficult task to do for one man.
Not difficult, challenging.
Challenging.
Say difficult.
Yeah. So in his defense, the brother this was his
Yeah. And I kept telling it, like, he's like, "Well, I'm make it up to you. I'm this or that." I said, "Listen, you don't have to. I'm not that girl. I'm not the girl that's like, if he treated me badly, you know what I mean? So let me tell bulls that if you treat them well, and then you have one, thing that you can't even control all the time,
Exactly.
go run, then she will still come back. Because I know Socrates, at the August, splash, he was having some I don't know, we'll call them medical issues, and he wasn't having the best experiences, and he was a little concerned that some of these ladies might not come back. I said, "Daddy, you treat them so well, and they know from other ladies and from myself, this is not the norm for your body, so the thing that's not working right that time." So, and plus, if someone's gonna just be judgy about "Oh, your dick not working this time," whatever, do you really want to play with some catty bitch like that again anyways? Like, just like, you say, ask guys a chance if they're treating you well. If you got 9 out of 10 and that one thing isn't that time, like, give them another round, because there's a number of factors that can be, like Socrates was saying, he'd really given it his all with my friend earlier in the day, and she was kind enough to refer him to me. So, everything else was great. And then when I met up with him out of town, then it was awesome.
Yeah. And to the brothers listening out there, don't worry about that. That happens. Okay. Regardless if you have played with somebody, previously and wore yourself out, or you just may be so hyped up to please this individual that it's gotten inside of your head. I've had that happen to me. I wanted this individual so bad that it just got inside my damn head, and the next thing I know, boom, nothing's happening down there. Everything else, great. Oral, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanted it so bad that, I just hyped myself up, and nothing. Exactly. I completely psyched myself out of it. You know what I mean? It went back home, and I was like, well, damn, I'm so freaking disappointed right now and embarrassed. But here again, a couple of days later, got a chance to redeem myself. I wasn't thinking about anything, and it was more spontaneous than anything this time. And, great encounter. So, gentlemen, don't worry about that. That happens. Okay? I don't care what age you are, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it happens, and that doesn't mean that you're not a quality bull. Doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing, or, that just happens. Okay? So, anything else, y'all? Any other questions?
No, sir.
Comments? None whatsoever. I think we hit some good, some good qualities. We didn't hit everything, but we can always have a part 2.
Right, to be continued. Well, I just want to say for, the guys listening, it's like you have tapped into a gold mine between, the length of experience that you've had, Brian, and then just the amount of research and, questions that
Nerdiness.
right, that Socrates asks. I really just feel between these two, it's like a wealth of information. I just feel blessed and fortunate to be able to have the female perspective on here and to share my experiences as well. But guys, you've really tapped into a gold mine, and I just recommend you just keep listening, because there's going to be a lot more wealth of information from these two and the guests that we'll have on in the future.
And it is a pleasure to have you with us, and with all of your experience and your advice, because you have a voice and a way of saying things that makes men feel very, very comfortable. Okay? Regardless of what you're talking about, it makes men feel very, very comfortable. And I know we have a lot of listeners out there, male, who are maybe just getting into this life, and they don't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what to expect. And like I said, this is a life that some people can conquer it, and a lot of people can't. It might not be for everybody, but I thank you for you being so patient and being able to break things down for these guys. And of course, nephew being nephew, I couldn't say what I say without you being on the other end, saying go on. All right. So, we're just getting started. Like I always say, we're just getting started. It's just going to get better. Taping after taping after taping. And ladies and gentlemen, we want you to come aboard on this train and ride it with us, because we're going to ride this motherfucker to the end.
Let's do it.
So, exactly. Anything else? Nephew?
No, sir.
None. Well, as I always say, we're going to end another wonderful episode of the Bull Brotherhood Podcast. And to all my brothers and bulls out there, I wish you a good night. And of course, to all my lovely hotwives and unicorns, good morning. Until we meet again, y'all, have a wonderful evening. All right, keep it sexy, keep it sensual. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Oh yeah, claim the mind, train the body, on the soul, deep connections built on trust. Let's all go from conversations to the passion that we hold. need to be those. This brotherhood's for men whose stories need to be told. You'll say it loud. This is who we are, bold, confident, and seductive. Dominant and classy, we're standing tall, never fall. Bull Brotherhood, luxury untold.